What is going on, everybody? It's the Front, and we're here for a SmackDown review for March 26, 2021. We are 2 weeks from tomorrow away from Wrestlemania, and the card is finally coming into shape. So, everyone knew tonight was going to be, and it's been rumored and everything else, that tonight was going to be the night that they make the match at WrestleMania 37 between Edge and Roman Reigns, a triple threat match, and of course, that's exactly what happened at the end of the show. Knew it was going to happen, and the talk about it is that Vince McMahon felt like doing it because Edge looks old, and he doesn't think it would look good for... Basically what it is that I have a feeling that if Edge is winning the Universal Championship, he doesn't want a guy who looks like a grandpa beating his top guy for the Universal Championship, so Daniel Bryan will get instituted to, take the pinfall, if that's what they're planning on doing. Edge by no means should be beating Roman Reigns one-on-one. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So we open the show. Bryan takes the mic and says everyone saw the truth at Fastlane as they showed us a video package of what happened with Roman very weakly tapping out. Like, if you wouldn't even say it looked like a tap, it looked like his arm was fidgeting. So in the motion of a tap, and that Roman Reigns tapped out. Roman said it would never happen. He said that Reigns said he would rather die in the ring than tap to someone like him. But he says, good news, everybody. Roman Reigns is alive, and I tapped him out. Which is interesting because the last person that WWE booked to where they never tapped out before was a man named John Cena, who I don't know about his pre-2005 run, was it? 2004 run, when he won the United States Championship and went from there. He never tapped out. Of course, you can't. I don't count a tapping out when he was knocked out against Rusev, but I don't think there was ever a time you saw John Cena tap out even if the referee didn't see it. I could be totally wrong. It has been way too many years for John Cena. But anyway, he says in a perfect world that would mean he's standing here as champion on his way to WrestleMania, but neither one of those things are true. Why? Because as he was making Reigns tap, Edge hit him with a steel chair, just like the one I'm holding here. He mocks Edge for some of his recent comments about Bryan not doing things the right way, and Bryan should let Edge versus Roman Reigns dream match happen. First and foremost, under whose authority said that Roman Reigns versus Edge is a fucking dream match? Because it never has been, to me, and never will be, a fucking dream match. I never want to see Edge wrestle again because the dude looks old, and like he says in the promo here in a bit, this could be his last match. Any match that he has could be his last. He's risking life and limb to go out there and fulfill his dreams of being WWE Universal Champion and being in WWE. So, yeah. There's that. So, it's not a dream match to me, and I don't think it's a dream match to anybody. Bryan said he's tired of doing things, just doing the right thing, standing around. I've had enough. I'm tired of letting people have their dream matches they don't deserve. He goes on about what he's earned, and says he was willing to earn it all again. He's not asking for anyone to give him a title shot or a spot at WrestleMania. He's willing to earn it and asks for a rematch against Roman Reigns tonight. And he wants that rematch. And if I don't get what I want, I am not leaving the ring. So he has the chair, he sets it up, he sits down. We go to commercial break. We come back. Daniel Bryan is still sitting in the middle of the ring, just staring, waiting for somebody like an Adam Pearce to finally come down and say something. And eventually Adam Pearce does come down. But it was another 3 or 4 minutes before he finally come down. It should have been, we come back for commercial break, Pearce comes down maybe 2 seconds later. But no. He's just sitting there, he's sitting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and finally Adam Pearce comes out. And finally he comes out and says, I can't give you a title shot tonight. Bryan's like, oh, well, I don't know if you saw me tap him out on there, but I could have the guys in the truck pull it back up. Pierce says he's already saw it, but the referee's decision is final, and says Reigns is still champion, and his next title defense will be against Edge at WrestleMania. Bryan says he has a solution. How about Pierce make Edge versus Reigns at WrestleMania, with Bryan immediately facing the winner afterwards. Pierce says, you of all people should know how unfair it would be to make someone do back-to-back title matches. Gee, really? And Daniel Bryan is like, yeah, but it was okay for me to do back-to-back matches, wrestle 40 minutes in the Elimination Chamber, go through hell, and then immediately fight the champion. That was fine. But here, oh no, you can't ask these two to do it. So you're like, okay, I have another one. You had the match on the first night. Night 2, the winner faces me. That's reasonable. Pierce looks on from the stage, and the music hit. Out comes Edge. He stops at Pierce, slaps the mic out of his hand, which is fucking stupid because he walks to the ring and asks for a mic himself, and I'm like, why didn't you just take Pierce's mic? Oh, COVID-19 shit, don't even want to hear that. So he goes to the ring. He says, for the last month, he stood back and watched Bryan act like some knight in shining armor. I'm thinking, what are you fucking talking about, Edge? You spent the last month and a half sitting here whining and bitching like a little motherfucking bitch that Bryan could possibly be your opponent at WrestleMania and not Roman Reigns. So don't tell me you've been sitting back and watching all this shit happen with Daniel Bryan. When you've been sitting back, you haven't been sitting back at all. You've come out here week in and week out, whine, bitch, moan, and complain about Daniel Bryan trying to get into the main event spot of WrestleMania, which every single talent in the back should hope to do on a yearly basis. Even though most talent know they will never get that chance. He says Bryan talks about how this could be his final WrestleMania, but every match I have could be my last. And he goes on about Bryan is very heroic for wanting to pick the bones of the winner, and talks about earning his title shot to Royal Rumble, and he goes on to say, Bryan doesn't deserve the shot, you son of a bitch. Bryan tackles him, works him over, but Edge ends up delivering a big spear. Laying him out in the middle of the ring, he picks up the chair and stalks Bryan, and delivers a big chair shot over the back of Bryan, the shoulder of Bryan, to keep him down. Edge tosses the chair and exits the ring. Yeah, so it's just no. That's. Oh, I just find it funny how he's like, I've sat back and just watched. I'm like, you have not sat back at all. You've been coming out here and bitching to Adam Pearce, bitching to Daniel Bryan, bitching to everybody until you're blue in the face that upset that Daniel Bryan got a match for Fastlane because you chose Roman Reigns for your opponent at WrestleMania. Now, Edge is turning heel because WWE needs to have Daniel Bryan, who the fans continue to love, be the underdog babyface. We're in 2014 all over again. 7 years ago, Daniel Bryan, Batista, and Randy Orton in the main event of one night. Night 2, which is, of course, the Sunday night episode, a part of WrestleMania. It's going to be Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, and Edge. Back then, 2 heels and 1 babyface. Again, 2 heels and 1 babyface. Because WWE has got nothing else to go on. They also show us what happened with Edge and Daniel Bryan, and we see Paul Heyman, Jey Uso, and Roman Reigns backstage. Roman tells Heyman, go get Adam Pearce. Heyman is like, with pleasure. Walks off. He tells Uso to go with Heyman and use force if necessary. And Uso asks if he's sure. Roman says, what are they going to do, fire us? And he walks off. Get back in the ring, and out comes Seth Rollins to take on Shinsuke Nakamura. Of course, this was a match we had at Fastlane, and it was a damn good match then. It was another damn good match tonight. All in all, Seth Rollins gets a stomp again, wins with the stomp, and sends Nakamura packing once again. But after the match, he decides that he knows that this guy is Cesaro's friend. I need to take my anger out on him. So he beats him up some. In comes Cesaro. They fight for a bit. Cesaro looks for the swing after a big, huge European pop-up European uppercut. Seth Rollins, of course, gets away. So, again, I want to see Shinsuke Nakamura get a legitimate world title run. The dude came out here and within the span of a week, had two bangers of a match, bangers with Seth Rollins. I know Seth Rollins has a lot to do with that too, but Shinsuke Nakamura, it's like, man, go back 3 years ago. He's on the road to WrestleMania. He won the Royal Rumble. We are going to AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura, a match that everybody, that was a dream match to WWE fans who didn't really get to watch the New Japan match. And we all want to see Shinsuke Nakamura walk out as WWE champion. But did they do that? No. And then he lost rematch after rematch after rematch after rematch after rematch after rematch, only winning one match against AJ Styles when they did a singles match. The winner picks the stipulation. He won that match. He picked the stipulation. Lost the main event, the pay-per-view match. So if Nakamura never wins the WWE Championship, it's a sad shame. Or a World Championship in WWE. It's a sad shame that this guy came all the way from Japan to get wasted and having damn good matches against a guy like Seth Rollins, back-to-back matches. Adam Pearce is in the locker room with Roman Reigns. Heyman is also there ranting. Reigns stands up and gets to Pearce's face, and Jey Uso stands behind Pearce. Reigns says Pearce is here because he wants him to understand that he gets Reigns just for one night, and only one night, one title defense. Now Pearce can thank him. Pearce says he's almost inclined to agree with Reigns, but he has other things to consider, and says he will have his decision by the end of the night, and he walks off. Then we go to Big E and the Street Profits versus Apollo Crews in the Alpha Academy. I don't know what the hell happened in this match, but it just, it honestly felt like it ended right quick. Crews took advantage towards the end with an angle slam. Won the match, beats the champion. So, yes, at WrestleMania, it will be Apollo Crews versus Big E again. Hopefully with a conclusive winner. I don't know who booked that finish on Sunday, but that was a shitty fucking finish, whether it was a botch or not. They wanted to go with the dusty finish so, Big E could retain and they could get to WrestleMania, but that's not how you do it. We see how Sami Zayn attacked Kevin Owens last week. We see Owens walking backstage. We see how Sami Zayn walking with his film crew. We went to commercial break. Back in break, Edge stops Adam Pearce, asking if Daniel Bryan is going to get what he wants. He asks what kind of ship he is running. He goes on, and Pearce says he has a job to gather the facts. He works for WWE. He doesn't cater to you, Roman or Bryan. I cater to the WWE Universe. He's doing this for WWE and not any other person. Edge says he hopes Pearce makes the right decision or else. Out comes Kevin Owens for the Kevin Owens Show with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn brings up Logan Paul and how he's going to do his documentary trailer next week with Logan Paul as his special guest. No motherfucking person in the WWE Universe or wrestling fans give a shit about Logan Paul. Why? Why? We already have to deal with Bad Bunny. Now we have to have Logan Paul get involved. Good fucking grief, this company. So, basically, Kevin Owens wants a match, one-on-one at WrestleMania with Sami Zayn. Sami rants about Owens making a huge mistake and they need to work together. Owens is like, yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? Sami's eventually like, fine, yes, we'll have a match. Owens says now that he has his answer, the only reason I didn't beat your ass already and beat you senseless is because I needed that answer from you. But now that that's out of the way, I can beat you senseless, and I'm going to. So, he beats the living bejesus out of this guy, beats him up, stunner, all the razzmadazzle, all that good shit, and leaves him laying. So, Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, which we haven't seen these two in a match against each other in a good while. So, I know people were getting, I know we gotta get tired of it with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens it seemed like forever. All the goddamn time. Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. But they stopped doing it for a while, and now we're getting it at WrestleMania. It's a shitty-ass build. They haven't really... Honestly, I don't know why they're doing this match. What has Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens been doing to build to a match at WrestleMania? Just because they need these two... They need something for these two to do? That's the only reason I see they do this match. They have nothing for Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn to do. Clearly, they're not doing the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal this year because of, the COVID scamdemic. But, yeah, there's that. Bryan approaches Adam Pearce backstage. He knows Adam Pearce is under pressure, but deep down he knows he has to make the right decision. And deep down he knows what that decision is. And all you have to do is make it. Back to the night, the Progressive Match Flow video shows us Women's Tag Team Champion Sasha Banks. The match between Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair versus the Tag Team Champions. All of that shit. Now, backstage before her match against Natalya, Kayla comes up and asks her about the slap. She says Twitter had a field day with that one. But I am stronger. I'm the strongest. And I could have easily retaliated. But my mama told me, what was it at? Yeah. She learned from her mother to be the bigger person because, of course, Sasha Banks, she said, wouldn't have made it to WrestleMania. And she did. And she did little, but a bit better than Banks, enough to make history and end Banks' reign at WrestleMania. Belair says she has some unfinished business with Natalya. She tells the viewers at home to keep the little kids out of the room because they shouldn't say what she's about to do. And we go to this match, and I could care less about Natalya. Natalya and Tamina are a tag team for whatever fucking reason. I feel like WWE is going to go down the route where we're going to, honestly, before the women's tag team titles in NXT were made, I thought maybe this is a way to get NXT on the main card for WrestleMania. On the card for WrestleMania is you have a team from Raw, a team from SmackDown, a team from NXT going against the tag team champions, and there you go. Are they going to do that now? Of course not. Do I really care about this match? No. Bianca Belair wins. Sasha Banks did come down halfway through the match. Distracting enough for Tamina to get involved. And, yeah. Now, Bianca Belair gets knocked to the ground, to the outside. And Sasha Banks is on commentary now. Comes over and just tells her to get up. She starts talking trash to her. And then Bianca just wrenches back and slaps the living shit out of Sasha Banks. Gets in the ring, hits the KOD, gets the win. She's celebrating, but of course, Sasha Banks comes from behind, hits a backstabber, and leaves her laying. So, that is going to be a match. Honestly, it sucks that these two have had such a piss-poor build. These two women deserve better than they're getting, but WWE just sucks at building matches. It still should be a good match at WrestleMania. We'll see what happens. Then we're back in the women's locker room. Edge comes in. Jey Uso is like, you want a death wish or something? He's like, nah. Reigns stands up and says, it takes a lot of balls for him to come in here. Almost expects Edge for that, but if Edge is going to let Edge better get to his point, or he's going to let the pit bull off the leash. Edge says he came here to talk. He says Bryan is going to wants to steal the spotlight, so if Reigns has the stroke he says he's got, now is the time to use it. Edge points out how he can pin Bryan to win the title, not Reigns. If Bryan is involved in the match, he tells Reigns to think about that. He walks off, and we go to commercial break. Back for break, and we see WrestleMania 37 promo, 15 days away. Yes, it's that fucking close. And it just feels like one of the worst builds to WrestleMania. So, before we get any further, they did announce that Kofi Kingston and the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods will defend the Raw Tag Team titles against AJ Styles and Omos on night one. Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon will be on night one as well. Cesaro versus Seth Rollins, which Seth Rollins did a promo in the back, challenged Cesaro and said he will never be swung again. So, of course, Cesaro came up from behind, swung him a couple times, and then said, challenge accepted. That's also going to be on night one. Now, on night two, The Fiend Randy Orton was also made confirmed on Monday. Big E versus Apollo Crews and Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn are all on night two. And I'm going to be honest right now, night two is the bigger show right now. Yes, it has one less match, but you have Asuka versus Rhea Ripley, Big E versus Apollo Crews, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan. Get to that in a minute. Whereas night one, you have Sasha versus Bianca, should be a good match. Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre, should be a good match. The New Day versus AJ Styles and Omos, who knows with that. Seth Rollins versus Cesaro, but then you have Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon, and Bad Bunny versus The Miz. That right there just takes points away from night one. Going into Dolph Ziggler versus Rey Mysterio, there was a really scary spot in this match. Ziggler goes for, Rey Mysterio goes for the 619. Ziggler rocks him and blocks it. Ziggler goes for a powerbomb and Rey fights back and sends Ziggler over the top rope. Rey leaps off the apron for a Hurricane Run, but Ziggler catches him, picks him up, and throws him over the barricade. And holy shit, I'm like, did you just kill Rey Mysterio? That looked brutal as can be. Dominic checks on his father, but Ziggler super kicks him. We go to commercial break. They have themselves some more of a match here. Rey goes for a springboard to the floor for Rude, but Ziggler catches him into a zigzag from behind, but gets a 2 count. And I'm like, yep, Rey's winning this match. Now, here's my thing. The only big reason that you do a false finish like this is to pop the big crowd. The crowd that you're at. The crowd in the arena. You're in an empty arena with a bunch of TV monitors showing people watching like idiots in front of a TV screen. Or some kind of screen. There's no fucking reason to do the big fucking fake outs, the false finish as you do right here. Just no fucking reason to do it. Ziggler can't believe he counters. Rey counters the gut wrench, drops Ziggler, hits the 619, flies for the splash in the 1-2-3. After the match, Dominic recovers at ringside and celebrates his dad's music. By the way, Dominic was wearing an Eddie Guerrero shirt, and people were wondering why does he have his real dad on his t-shirt while he's here with his adopted dad. People just don't know when to stop. So those guys are heading to the back, and the SmackDown music hits, and Rey comes out in Pierce. Then Roman Reigns. We go back to commercial break. We come back, Edge comes out, Daniel Bryan comes out. Now, Adam Pearce says, well, you guys are right here's the things that you guys are right about. You shouldn't have to defend the title twice, Roman, on 2 nights. You shouldn't have to wrestle a match and then defend the title right after. And what else was there? Come on. Like, all these things are making sense. He also says Bryan makes sense, too. There's a double standard in how he deserves another title shot. Pierce says Reigns is also right, as he will only defend the title 1 time at WrestleMania, and announces that at WrestleMania, you 3 guys will be in a triple threat match. Roman's not happy. Edge is not happy. Daniel Bryan and Edge start brawling. Roman hits a Superman punch on Daniel Bryan. Edge hits a spear on Roman Reigns, hits another spear, gets 2 chairs, puts these guys into concerto positions, gets another chair. Jay comes in, so he attacks Jay. Roman's able to escape. Daniel Bryan tries to escape too, but Edge brings him back, puts him in the spot for the concerto. But WWE officials and referees come in. The officials get hit with the chair a couple times, and Daniel Bryan was able to escape. Edge props the chair up, sits down, and just stares menacingly into the camera, and the show goes off the air. So everybody expected this to happen on this day. It's just WWE, Vince McMahon having second thoughts, wanting to change things. Oh, Edge looks old. He's looking older every single time. His match against Jey Uso really wasn't anything special. But, yeah, WWE going this route. And we will see how it goes at WrestleMania. And the biggest reason I think that they're going this route as well, because if Edge is actually going to win the WWE the Universal Championship, he's going to beat Daniel Bryan. He's not going to beat Roman Reigns. Why the fuck would you want him to beat Roman Reigns? But yeah, it's another way to also get him out. Like, it's another way to have to, like, to keep him away from, like, it's not going to be as bad to have this guy in a triple threat match as it would be to a singles match. So, yeah. So, SmackDown goes off the air. Okay show. WWE still got a lot to do when it comes to getting people hyped for WrestleMania, because we're not there yet. But that is your SmackDown review. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on mine at The France Club, find me on twitch.tv/TheFrance Club, and find me on Instagram at The France Club, and I will see you guys Monday for Raw. Until then, my name is The France, and I'll see you guys later.